So thank you for that. It's good to be back. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis right now. Faith, patriotism, hard work, and family have disappeared, only to be replaced by race, gender, sexuality, and climate. But we're not going to win this election just by criticizing the other side. We're going to win this by standing for our own vision of who we really are. What does it mean to be a Republican in the year 2024? What does it mean to be an American in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit, that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions.
Yep, that's what you say, buddy.
It means we believe in the rule of law. And I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That is why we will seal the southern border on day one.
And stop criminal alien invaders. Well said, Vivek.
It means the people who we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government.
Not the bureaucrats.
Unelected bureaucrats in the deep state. These are not black ideas or white ideas. They are not even Democrat ideas or Republican ideas. They are American ideas that we fought a revolution to secure. And the man who will revive these ideals in the United States of America is your next president, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to reignite the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. But there is one more reason I'm going to ask you to vote Trump, and it's the most important one. It's the one the media won't talk about, but it's the truth. Donald Trump is the president who will actually unite this country, not through empty words, but through action. Because you know what? Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this.
Legal.
You're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this.
Get out.
We will return you to your country of origin. Not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law.
That's
right.
right.
The United States of America was founded on the rule of law.
There you go, Vivek. Oh, this is why I went live early, folks. Vivek is on this hour, which is at the top hour.
Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself. Yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time.
Ooh. No, he's not holding back.
And our message to Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that actually saves this country.
No, hold your breath.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. You want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American.
I'm loving it. This is the speech.
And you know what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days, not in some
ahead of us
way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us. Still on our way to that shining city on a hill, that country where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, or how long your last name is.
Ramaswamy.
That you will still get ahead in this country with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, is going to defeat us.
Not a virus.
That is what American exceptionalism is all about.
There's the phrase.
That is what we will revive this November when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Thank you all. God bless you.
Woo,
and
baby.
Families, and may God bless our United States.
Cooking with Sterno.
Thank you.
Vivek Ramaswamy, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, baby, that was incredible. That's why I went early. Oops, sorry. There we go. That's why I went early tonight to catch
Ladies
Vivek.
and gentlemen, please welcome American icon, singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood.
Lee Greenwood. He's going to perform. I'm going to put Lee off there. I don't want to get a copyright claim on that. Lee Greenwood, I don't know if he's going to talk there or not. So we'll turn Lee Greenwood off and we'll talk. So Lee Greenwood's filling in some time there. Let me give you the schedule for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I was not planning on going live until the top of the next hour. However, I went live unannounced, and thank you for joining me because the schedule was finally published. I was busy. Vivek followed Speaker Mike Johnson from the House, who followed. Before him was Steve Scalise, the majority speaker for the House Representatives. Next is Savannah Chrisley. I think she's the spouse of that goober reality television star. And then Mayor Eric Johnson of Dallas. The next hour, which is when I was going to go live, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard, 8 Central Time in Milwaukee. The next hour at 8 p.m., it's Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. Leading off the hour, Randy Sutton, former police lieutenant. Attorney General Brenna Bird of Iowa. Nikki Haley then gets the stage, followed by Ron DeSantis, Senator Eric Schmitt of Missouri, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Michael Coyle, an everyday American who will talk about illegal immigration, and Erin Koper, a Republican activist who will talk about fentanyl. That's in the next hour. And then after that, at the top of at the 10 o'clock hour here on the East Coast, which will make it 4 a.m. in South Africa and 3 a.m. in the United Kingdom, and Fundner, everyday American who will talk about opioids. The family of Rachel Moran, who was killed while jogging last year, an undocumented criminal alien invader charged with murdering her. Madeline Brame, an everyday American, will talk about crime. Then Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas, followed by Ben Carson, former housing secretary and urban development and retired neurosurgeon. And then Senator Marco Rubio of Florida. And finally, the last spot for the evening will be Lara Trump, the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee and Mr. Trump's daughter-in-law. So that's what's coming up this evening. I think the next hour will be the most interesting hour as we have Ted Cruz, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Tom Cotton all in that hour. So that should be fascinating, I believe. But welcome back to the program, folks. Microsoft has fired the DEI division. I heard that. The woke world is collapsing around the leftist as we speak. Boy, my T-shirt makes me look like my beard's crooked. Now, there we go. Let's do it this way. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, so good evening. I see that Arctic made it here quickly, and he said Vivek had a great day. I did not hear what Vivek had to say today. Yeah, he would have been a great pick for VP. I had no problem with that. But boy, can he deliver a speech. Yep. And then good morning, Ernst. Who else is here? We got 9 people here early. The Americans don't see this because of shadow banning. And now we have Chrisley's coming out on the stage now. So let's get her out there.
Good evening. 726-00019 and 726-01019. These may be just numbers to you, but to me, they're my whole heart. These numbers are my parents' identification numbers in our federal prison system. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and you may have seen my family on TV, but for the past decade, we've been consumed with a different kind of drama. My family was persecuted by rogue prosecutors in Fulton County due to our public profile. I know, Fulton County, they know how to do it, don't they? Due to our public profile and conservative beliefs. They accused my parents of fraud when really we were defrauded by a dishonest business partner who, let's not forget, the government gave full immunity to. We suffered warrantless raids and harassment. One of the officials even had my father's face on a dartboard in his office. My parents were sentenced to a combined 19 years. I know. And let me tell you, I got custody of my brother and sister, 10 and 16 at the time. And you don't know heartache until you look 2 children in the eyes and say, I don't know when mom and dad are coming home. I'll never
That's
forget
what happened to them.
what
I didn't know they're in prison.
the prosecutor said in the most heavily Democrat county in the state before an Obama-appointed judge. He called us the Trumps of the South. Yeah, hey, it's fun. He meant it as an insult, but let me tell you, boy, do I wear it as a badge of honor. We live in a nation founded on freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Justice, it's supposed to be blind, but today we have a two-faced justice system. Just look at what they're doing to President Trump. All while, let's face it, Hunter Biden is roaming around free and attending classified meetings. And let's face it, look at what they're doing to countless Christians and conservatives that the government has labeled extremist or even worse.
Or parents.
Meanwhile, the Democrats are releasing actual violent offenders who have hurt innocent people. A lawyer of mine, Brett Tolman, who's a former U.S. attorney, he told me about a plaque that hangs in the Department of Justice, and it reads, "The hallmark of fairness in the administration of justice is consistency. The only thing consistent about Democrat justice is how they consistently punish their enemies. That's not justice. Look at what they've done to Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
I mean, the man should be at home." Proverbs 24:16 says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." It's about time we start seeing people stumble. We need to rise above the persecution. We need to hold rogue prosecutors accountable. There should be no immunity. We need to expose the Democrats' corruption, and better yet, the Biden family's corruption.
Yeah. Everyone's forgetting about that.
And guess what? I know just the man for that job.
Well, he didn't get it done last time.
Donald J. Trump has only one conviction that matters, and that is his conviction to make America great again. Thank you, and God bless America.
Well, there you go, folks. Savannah Chrisley. Yeah, I didn't know what happened to her parents.
Mayor of Dallas, Texas, Eric Johnson.
So, okay, Mayor of Dallas, Texas. Now, I didn't know that happened to her parents. Didn't know they went to prison. My goodness.
Four years ago, progressive activists stood on my front lawn with the stated goal of intimidating my family. They wanted me to defund the police. I said no. Folks, I grew up in high crime neighborhoods. What we wanted was more and better policing, not less. As mayor, I knew we needed to increase support for our police department and prioritize violent crime reduction. I'd been a Democrat my entire life, albeit a conservative one. But when those activists tried to scare my kids, my fellow Democrats...
Sorry, folks. He's a little bit boring. I'm going to shut him off there. So, Myra, I didn't lower any standards. I'm just busy listening with the rest of you. I didn't see what you're talking about there. So, well, I've never said people couldn't say profanity in the chat. That's not a banned word. I didn't ban that word, but I've taken it out since it offended you, Myra. So we saw Vivek Ramaswamy. I came on early. I'm not scheduled to go on for another 9 minutes, but it was fascinating. And that was Savannah Chrisley, a Fillmore beauty teen pageant competitor in Miss Teen Tennessee, whose parents are in prison for fraud. They've been persecuted by the Biden regime. I didn't know that happened to them. I guess it's not something they kept in the news. But so Ted Cruz will be coming up soon. And then we've got Nikki Haley coming up as well. Tom Cotton all in the next hour. Ladies and gentlemen, today the human detritus poor excuse for the director of the Secret Service complained and said the reason why that they didn't put anyone on the roof where the attempted assassin was located was because it was on a slope. I'm here to report tonight that the director of the Secret Service is a bold-faced liar. She's an incompetent twit and a diversity hire who should be sacked immediately and investigated for negligence and held criminally liable for her actions. Kim Cheadle is a bold-faced liar. The sniper teams that were put in place on the buildings behind Donald Trump were on buildings with a greater slope by a significant percentage than the building in which she had snipers inside the building, but did not go up on top of the building. The only thing sloped, there's no sloped roof. The only sloped thing in this entire conversation is her forehead. She has a sloped forehead. She's a moron of the highest order. And ladies and gentlemen, an interview with television, Joseph Robinette Biden doesn't even know that his director of the Secret Service is a woman. When he was asked about had he spoken to the director, he said, I have spoken to him. I have spoken to him. Now, I don't know about you. She may not be the most attractive person on the planet, but beauty isn't how you determine gender. Her appearance should make it pretty clear that she's a woman, Joe. But apparently Joe thinks that his director of the Secret Service is a dude. So this is just beyond the pale. The cover-up is in full motion now. She won't resign. She won't leave. She won't be fired. So they have the next 4 months to cover up the attempted murder of Donald Trump. That's what's going to happen. When I say cover up, I'm not saying that the CIA, that the Secret Service is in on it, that the Biden regime orchestrated. I'm not making any such claim, but I'm talking about the cover up. Just like Hunter Biden's cocaine use in the White House, just like Joe Biden's daughter's car being carjacked, just like the Secret Service agents who paid for hookers in Colombia, just like the Secret Service agents who got shit-faced drunk and caused a scene. The list goes on and on of their incompetence. And if you have any confidence whatsoever that the Federal Bureau of Incompetence who's investigating this is actually going to accomplish something, then you'll believe anything. I'm telling you that right now. You'll believe anything. So that was the mayor of Dallas, Texas. And now we have a slight break here, it looks like, before the top of the hour. There are a few minutes ahead of schedule, and we'll get into the next hour. We're going now into prime time. Is Trump coming in? I see what appear to be Secret Service agents. No, it's J.D. Vance. It is Secret Service agents, as J.D. Vance makes an appearance on the floor. Down there where the camera's trained, J.D. Vance just passed that spot. So the nominee for vice president, J.D. Vance, has entered the building. Donald Trump is purportedly, there he is, J.D. Vance, purportedly going to make an appearance this evening as well, once again at this event. This is a united political party, the Republican Party. The never-Trumpers are being pushed aside. The lunatics on the left are being pushed aside, and rational Americans are coming to the standard of a true leader, Donald John Trump. So that's J.D. Vance, all smiles, the 39-year-old man who became famous by trashing his own white trash family and trashing rural Americans and then hating on Trump and being a never-Trumper, making money in the IT field and in venture capitalism, becoming fabulously wealthy, and then working his way into the U.S. Senate, is the nominee for vice president of the United States. J.D. Vance, there he is. There he is at 39, being elevated to a position well beyond his experience in years. But will he prove to be the right guy for the job? We shall see. He makes his way up to those seats there. And there's, look, another female Secret Service agent. I feel so safe with her earrings dangling there. What do those earrings add to security for the president? She looks pretty scared and clueless. There's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who will be speaking tonight. And there is Marjorie Taylor Greene next to Trump Jr. Is that the Don? That's not Eric, is it? No, is that Eric? That's Eric. That's the Trump son there. Yep. And yeah, J.D. Vance now taking a spot up there. They're trained on him. That's probably why we have the 4 minutes of time here. As Vance makes his way over. I can't see who that is. Don't recognize him. Saying hello to folks. Yeah, so this cover-up is going on. It's in full cover-up mode by the corrupt deep state. Oh, there's, what's her name? Yeah. We have free speech here. Knock it off, Arctic. Free speech is responsible speech. All right, you get free speech, it's got to be responsible. Anyway, so J.D. Vance, vice presidential nominee, a man sporting a beard. It's been a while since a candidate for the White House was sporting a beard. Yep. Well, isn't that Trump's daughter there? That one there? Janet Liddy, welcome in from South Carolina, and we're going into the next hour. Let me run through the list of those who are supposed to be in this tax hour here very quickly once again. So there's a speaker lineup. At this hour, leading off the hour, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, Randy Sutton, a former police lieutenant, Attorney General Brenna Bird of Iowa, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Eric Schmitt, Tom Cotton, Michael Coyle, an everyday American, Erin Koper, Republican activist, who will talk about fentanyl. That is in the next hour. So we're waiting for that to get started. And then in the hour after that, it'll be Ann Fundner, another everyday American, the family of Rachel Moran, who was murdered by a criminal alien invader. Madeline Brame, an everyday American, talking about crime. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who we just saw there on stage. Senator Marco Rubio. And finally, Lara Trump. All next hour. Yeah, that's his daughter that's from Marla Maples, isn't it? Or something like that. Anyway, Trump's got kids from all over the place. Myra, so Hendo. Hey, Hendo, welcome to you. It's early for you, that's for sure. Now, that person there looks like a Secret Service agent, but she's not behaving like one. That Coke is not very cold. I thought I had it in the fridge long enough. But we're waiting now. We're just 2 minutes away, and Ted Cruz will be leading it. You know, why do we have to focus on J.D. Vance? Can't we just tilt the camera up a little bit and see Trump's hottie daughter? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, folks, and the cover-up on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump is in full swing. Every moment we learn more things. Today we learned that the House Oversight Committee for Homeland Security has yet to be briefed by anyone on the attempted assassination. No one in the Congress has been informed anything as the Biden regime scrambles to cover up the attempted murder of Donald Trump. It is, I'd say, shocking, but we've grown accustomed to this sort of criminal conduct by the White House under this crooked regime. It is pathetic. Shared it on Twitter. Well, thank you very much for that, Hendo. Appreciate that. JD or Vivek? I think JD was a trade-off for Trump to get the rhinos in line. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to get rhinos in line, but I think Vivek is a better choice. So, better choice than J.D. Vance. But we'll hear J.D. Vance speak either tomorrow or earlier Thursday. I think it's going to be tomorrow, so it doesn't take away from Trump. Thursday will be the last night of this convention. It's Tuesday night, July 16th, 2024, and we're watching the Republican National Convention live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a state that has trended against Republicans in recent years, but very close to the borderline for Trump to haul it in. So, hopefully we'll be getting Ted Cruz here in just a moment. It's 8:59, and Cruz should be coming. There's John, or what's his name, from Florida there, the former governor of Florida and a senator from Florida right there, Rick Scott. Is that Vivek back there? No. Is it sitting down? It looked like Vivek was sitting down back there. Vivek Ramaswamy gave an inspired, fantastic speech here this evening, folks. That's why I went live early, because Vivek was coming on, and I caught it as he was starting, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. He said exactly the things I've been saying. Of course, I don't have the platform he does. I'm not a tech billionaire like he is, so he's not really a billionaire. He's worth, a lot, though. But there's Rick Scott and J.D. Vance. Rick Scott looks like he's getting up there in years. See if I can find a speech outside the convention. Okay, you mean the video? Okay, so he spoke outside the convention. No. It's not there. If it is, if someone can find it, let me know. But it's not available. I just did a quick search. All it shows is what he was going to talk about here tonight. It was better than his speech. All right. So Ted Cruz should be coming up. Let's see if we've got him coming. Playing YMCA. And that will get me a copyright claim. That's ironic, as Donald Trump is 78 years old. They're saying young man. Yeah. I love it. That's the advert there with Trump doing his Trump dance. Yeah, no, I didn't see it. Where was it at? What was it, broadcast on one of the news channels, or where was it? It's fun to stay at the Y. No, I cannot, Arctic, because it's a copyright strike. Cannot turn up the volume until they stop playing music. Unfortunately, we are on YouTube, and YouTube does not allow fair use. They fraudulently attack you for copyright claim. If I was just playing the music and that was it, that would be different. But I'm here. It should be allowed to be playing in the background. But remember, during January 6th, when I was walking on Constitution Avenue and there was music playing in the background, I got a copyright claim for the music, and I had to stop playing. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, President Donald
Looks
J.
dead serious.
Trump.
I'm going to get in trouble for that, probably. That's what I like about you. I'm going to get hit for that one, so I got to turn that off for a moment, or I'll get hit with a copyright claim again. It's such a... No, after the song. Okay, well, I did after the song. I thought they had the mic on him. The Trumpster's headed back up to his seat, so he's going to be there for the final 2 hours tonight once again. 47th President of the United States walking up the stairs right there. Looking rather solemn. A little bit of a smile there. A little bit of a smile there. So make America great once again. Make America wealthy again. The Trumpster, someone that I was never a fan of, but I've become more and more fond of the guy. Mostly because the attacks on him and the way he stands up and doesn't wither under the baseless attacks. Yeah, the tree last night during the benediction, you're going to be blessed. It's going to be the best ever. It was fantastic. That was really good. There's Sarah Huckabee Sanders there. There's his son. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the bomb thrower, right? She gets primetime seat. If anybody wonders where she stands in all this, Marjorie Taylor Greene is right there. That's not Luna, is it? Back there? Maybe that's Luna from Florida. I thought it was different. You're going to be so blessed. That's right. Yep. Still playing the music. So there you go. Now Trump's getting in the mood. He's going to say hi. Trump's going to shake some more hands here. Yep. I didn't recognize his daughter up there, man. She's dressed very smartly, too. Well, as soon as they stop the music, we can get started here. But Ted Cruz now is supposed to be speaking. It's 5 minutes tardy because Trump came in. But I think we can excuse that. Trumpster coming in. It's time to change hats now. Take off my campaign hat and switch over to this hat. Here you go, folks. Wore that out today just to piss people off. Pennsylvania for Trump today when I was out shopping and getting some petrol. And that might be Luna. Maybe that's who that is. Not Secret Service. The one from Florida. Anyway, so we're waiting for this to get started here. Ted Cruz is up first.
This is the man responsible for your family's safety. And he's failed you terribly. Biden made one of the worst mistakes of any president in history when he told illegals to come here and surge our border.
Yep.
I would in fact make sure that we immediately surge to the border.
And surge they did.
That's not what he meant.
10 million, more than the population of 40 U.S. states. And Biden's open border became an open invitation for violent Venezuelan gang members, sex traffickers, and now confirmed, ISIS terrorists entered through Biden's wide-open southern border, putting America on high alert for an attack, and your family at great risk.
We immediately surge to the border.
But it gets even worse. Biden's incompetence has led to a horrific 300,000 Americans now dead. Not from a nuclear bomb,
Fentanyl.
but from lethal fentanyl brought in through Biden's wide-open border. And on Biden's watch, enough illegal fentanyl has crossed our borders to kill every single American. That's terrifying. This weak man has been great for the Mexican drug cartels, while being a death sentence for over 300,000 Americans, including young children. That's approaching the number of soldiers that were killed in World War II. Yet what's Biden's message?
Surge to the border.
The Biden surge has also led to a surge in violent crimes committed by illegal migrants. Horrific crimes. Murders. Gang attacks against our police. Child sex crimes. And the brutal killing of a nursing student on her college campus. Countless families will never forget the pain and tragedy. And America should never forget who was responsible. Joe Biden.
Surge to the border.
And America's border czar. President Trump had our borders secure, our families safe, and he'll do it again.
All right,
Ladies
Ted
and
Cruz.
gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator
Ted Cruz
of Texas.
And he should get a good round of applause because he's a genuine conservative. Although he's made a few missteps. The stupid comments on January 6th weren't helpful.
God bless Donald J. Trump.
Oh, I said thank you.
And let me start by giving thanks to God Almighty
What a tan.
for protecting President Trump. And for turning his head on Saturday as the shot was fired. Together we lift up in prayer all of our leaders for protection. And our prayers are in particular with the family of Fire Chief Corey Comparatore and the others injured on Saturday. Never before has an election mattered so much. We are facing an invasion on our southern border. Not figuratively,
Literally.
a literal invasion.
Yep.
11.5 million people have crossed our border illegally under Joe Biden.
It's more than that. It's much more than that.
Look around you. This arena holds about 18,000 souls. Now imagine 639 arenas just like this, filled to the brim.
Yep.
That is 11.5 million people, larger than all but 8 states in the nation. But the numbers don't show us the true price that our country is paying.
Yep.
Every day, Americans are dying. Murdered, assaulted, raped by illegal immigrants that the Democrats have released. Teenage girls and boys wearing colored wristbands are being sold into a life of sex slavery. This is evil and it's wrong. And it is happening every damn day. Think of Kate Steinle.
Yep. Kate, thank you. Someone else other than me
She was
remembers her.
32.
Yep.
Walking with her father on a
San
San Francisco
Francisco
pier when a bullet tore through her heart.
And
The
he got
man
away
who
with
fired
it.
that gun,
Walked away.
he'd been deported 5
Times.
Every damn day. Think of Laken Riley.
Yep. Georgia.
Just 22 years old, a nursing student with dreams of healing others.
Murdered.
She went for a jog and never came home. Her life taken by someone who should have never been here. Every damn day. Or Rachel Moran, a beautiful mother of 5, raped and murdered in suburban Maryland by an illegal immigrant the Democrats released.
Yep.
Every
Damn day. There we go.
Or Jocelyn Nungary, only 12 years old. It was just 1 month ago today that she was brutally raped and murdered in Houston by 2 men who were supposed to be detained and monitored, but instead released and allowed to roam free.
Yep. 12-year-old girl.
Every
damn day.
These aren't just stories.
These are people. These are
Or
Americans.
statistics. They're our daughters, our sisters,
Our mothers.
our friends. The families don't care about the empty numbers. They care about the empty chairs
At the dinner table.
at the dinner table, about the voices they'll never hear again, about the laughter lost, and about the dreams that will never be fulfilled. I've sat with these families in living rooms where the silence is so loud that it hurts, where photo albums are opened with trembling hands. How did we get here? It happened because Democrats cynically decided they wanted votes from illegals more than they wanted to protect our children. Today, as a result of Joe Biden's presidency, your family is less safe.
Yeah,
Your
our country.
children are less safe. The country is less safe. But here's the good news.
Help is on the way.
We can fix it. And when Donald Trump is president, we will fix it.
You're right about that
We
article.
know this because he's done it before. I know this because I worked hand in hand with President Trump to secure our border, and we achieved the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. It's real simple. He's done it before.
He'll do it again.
He'll do it again.
I should be a speechwriter.
So tonight, I speak for Kate and Laken
Steinle
and Rachel. Tonight, I speak for Jocelyn. And let us go forward together and keep our sacred oath to defend the Constitution and to protect the American people. Let us secure our borders, enforce our laws, protect our children, and restore the future. Because when we do that, when we remember who we are and who we love, and we act to protect them, then and only then will we truly make America great again. Thank you. God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas calling out the criminal alien invasion of America. Vance is fresh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former law enforcement officer Randy Sutton.
He is a fresh face, but and a clean slate. It's also a different approach, and that's why I think he went with him. But Cruz would have been a great choice. Let's go blue for law enforcement. Back to blue.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Hello, America. My name is Randy Sutton, a police lieutenant. I was a police officer for 34 years.
Almost as long as I was in the Army.
I was one of the most highly decorated officers in the history of my department. And then I founded the Wounded Blue, an organization dedicated to helping injured and disabled law enforcement officers. I've dedicated my life to law enforcement. And I'm here to tell you one thing, America. Donald Trump is the best friend we will ever have. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a plague of crime across America.
Yep.
The endless tsunami of illegal aliens, no consequences for violent crime, the abuse of our criminal justice system. It's all made America more dangerous than ever before. Police are the thin blue line between criminal predators and their victims. Donald Trump and Republicans stand that line with our police. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, well, they stand with the criminals. The last few years have been devastating for our police. The war on cops is very real, and it's getting Americans killed. Last year alone, more than 70,000 law enforcement officers were physically assaulted. They were shot, they were stabbed, they were beaten, they were hit with bricks, and in the last 5 years, 1,834 made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives in the line of duty.
It's very emotional about it.
But all of this will end on the day we elect Donald J. Trump, President. But my friends, it's not just the physical violence. It's the relentless effort to divide the people from the police. This is about the soul of America. Make no mistakes. If the radical left succeeds in defunding and destroying policing as we know it, they will break apart the cornerstone of our system, law and order. Well,
back the blue, they're chanting.
amazing. Thank you. But I'm going to tell you, there's one man that these pro-criminal, anti-police extremists fear most.
Donald Trump.
And that is the once and future president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Before I finish my remarks, I want to do one thing, and that is salute our president. America, I make this promise. Our police will never waver from their mission to serve and protect, even at the risk of their own lives. But they need a true leader who will have their backs. Donald J. Trump is that leader. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless those that walk the line. And may God bless America.
Yeah, folks, earlier today, someone was shot outside the Republican National Convention near there.
I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win, and we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat, and frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday.
Okay, well, that's not particularly helpful. That's just an advert that's running. So I'm going to get to the chat here. Can Trump fire the VP after the election? No, he can't, because Trump doesn't decide who the vice president is. He picks a running mate, but the country picks the vice president. We vote directly for the vice president. So he can't fire him. It doesn't work like that. This isn't a parliamentary system like South Africa, the United Kingdom, Germany, and France. We vote for the president, vice president. So it's our foolhardiness that selects a moron like Joe Biden to be president. No, he cannot get rid of him. No. So Scott Ford says not everyone likes Trump, but do you know anyone else? No one else put up this crap.
Brenna Bird.
Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird now. This is a law enforcement evening and the anti-criminal alien invasion evening. So she's the Attorney General of Iowa.
Yeah. Good evening, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. So if the vice president dies or is removed from office, the Speaker of the House of Representatives becomes a vice president. That's how Gerald Ford became vice president.
I was a local prosecutor locking up bad guys. But in 2022, I ran for Attorney General and beat the incumbent Democrat who was first elected when I was just 2 years old.
Good Lord. Wow, that guy was there a long time.
We won because Iowans were ready for an Attorney General who would protect them, not the criminals. An Attorney General who would stand up to Joe Biden and the radical Democrats. And an Attorney General who would defend our constitutional freedoms. But perhaps more than anything, Iowa voters wanted an Attorney General who would back the blue. Unfortunately, Democrats like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have made life miserable for law enforcement.
Indeed they have.
Treat police like criminals, and criminals like victims.
Yep.
And tragically, many crime victims feel abandoned by a justice system that doesn't seem to put their interests first. They deserve better than what these defund the police Democrats deliver. Yet the radical left believes in handouts, not handcuffs.
Ooh, that's a good line.
Democrats like Harris use words like reimagine the police. They're probably imagining more DEI programs for the police. Harris even said that putting more cops on the street wouldn't make communities safer. American families disagree. Never forget, the Democratic Party is the party of defunding the police.
Yep.
They said it, they mean it.
They did
and
it.
They can't wiggle out of it.
They did it, too. They did it. Look at Minneapolis. Oh, you're welcome, Scott. 36 and a half years in the Army.
Victims, and we put criminals where they belong.
23 years overseas.
In jail.
5 combat tours.
That's why we need to elect President Donald J. Trump. President Trump knows that keeping Americans safe isn't a 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. job. And rank and file cops know that President Trump, he has their back. It touched our hearts when earlier this year, President Trump attended the wake of a fallen New York City police officer. We all owe heroes like Officer Jonathan Diller a debt we can never repay. President Trump knows this, and he shows his gratitude. Joe Biden was also in New York City that day, but instead of honoring our heroes, he attended a glitzy fundraiser with Barack Obama and Bill Clinton. None of them went to pay their respects.
Well, that's kind of cherry picking there, but yeah, okay.
That day, we saw Democrat priorities, and we saw Donald Trump's priorities, and we saw that Trump's values are our values.
She's not very dynamic.
I urge everyone listening to stand with law enforcement and vote to make America safe again. I urge you to vote for Donald Trump on November 5th. Thank you, Milwaukee, and God bless you.
Yeah, she wasn't very dynamic.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former governor of South Carolina and ambassador to the United Nations,
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley.
This should be entertaining. Interesting dress. She's getting a warm welcome she doesn't deserve. She's going to think she's more popular than she really is. That's too warm. Too warm. Yeah, that's better. Lukewarm, much better.
My fellow Republicans, President Trump asked me to speak to this convention in the name of unity.
Something she doesn't understand.
It was a gracious invitation, and I was happy to accept.
But
I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
Well, she's not stupid politically because she knew that'd be her end of her political existence. Look at it, Trump doesn't look too thrilled. He did what he had to do. I sound like a 90s computer voice? Or she does.
Our country is at a critical moment. We have a choice to make. For more than a year, I said a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Kamala Harris. After seeing the debate, everyone knows it's true.
Well, we knew it before that.
We have 4 more years of Biden.
He won't be there.
Or a single day of Harris. Our country
It's
will
gone.
be badly worse off. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump. But there's more to it than that. We should acknowledge that there are some Americans who don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time.
That's their problem.
I happen to know some of them. And I want to speak to them tonight.
Vote Trump.
My message to them is simple. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Take it from me, I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree. We agree on keeping America strong. We agree on keeping America safe. And we agree that Democrats have moved so far to the left that they're putting our freedoms in danger. I'm here tonight because we have a country to save. And a unified Republican Party is essential for saving her.
Exactly, Arctic, that's right. You hit that on the head.
For those who have some doubts about President Trump, I want to tell you a few things about the Commander-in-Chief I know and worked with. As ambassador to the United Nations, I had a front row seat to his national security policies. We sure could use those again. Think about it. When Barack Obama was president, Vladimir Putin
invaded Crimea. Yes, I said this so many times.
With Joe Biden as president,
He invaded
Putin
Ukraine.
invaded all of Ukraine.
Yeah,
But when Donald Trump was president,
never invaded.
Putin did nothing. No invasions,
No threats, no intimidation, no sabotage in Estonia's banking system.
no invasions, no wars. That was no accident. Putin didn't attack Ukraine because he knew Donald Trump was tough.
Kim Jong-un.
A strong president doesn't start wars. A strong president prevents wars.
I'll take the other Indian. I'll take Vivek over her. Right, we didn't blow up Nord Stream.
the Middle East. Every problem
Abraham
in that
Accords.
part of the world can be laid at the feet of Iran. The dictators who chant death to America are the bankrollers and weapons suppliers for Hamas and
Hezbollah.
They're behind the barbaric massacres and the hostage-taking. Once again, compare Trump and Biden. Trump got us out of the insane Iran nuclear deal.
Yep.
He imposed the toughest sanctions ever on Iran.
Yep.
And he eliminated the arch-terrorist Soleimani.
Soleimani.
Iran was too weak to start any wars. They knew Trump meant business, and they were afraid. And then there's Joe Biden.
Yep. Afghanistan.
He lifted the sanctions. He begged them to get back into the nuclear deal. He surrendered in Afghanistan. He sent every possible sign of weakness.
Yep.
Even now, while Hamas is still holding Americans hostage.
Yep, Americans.
Biden is pressuring Israel instead of the terrorists.
Yep. Yep. That's the most unconscionable part of it all. Americans being held hostage and he's pressuring Israel.
Israel and Hamas, Donald Trump is clear about who is our friend and who is our enemy. Then look at the border. It's the single biggest it's the single biggest threat Americans face. Under Joe Biden, migrants are coming into our country by the thousands every day. We have no idea who they are.
Call them criminal
where
alien
they
invaders.
end up, or what they plan to do. And let me remind you, Kamala had one job. One job.
One job, yeah.
And that was to fix the border. Now imagine her in charge of the entire country.
God. Oof. Oof. Scary thought.
Under Donald Trump, we didn't have the border disaster we have today, and we won't when he is president again. I was proud to serve America in President Trump's cabinet, and I'll tell you something you won't hear from the critics. He appreciated advice and input. Americans were well served by his presidency, even if they didn't agree with him on all things. Now, to my fellow Republicans, we must not only be a unified party, we must also expand our party.
Are you going to admonish us now to make sure we go after gays and lesbians and people of color?
We are so much better when we are bigger. We are stronger when we welcome people into our party who have different backgrounds and experiences.
Yeah, only if they're conservative,
and right
though.
Now we need to be strong to save America.
We don't need rhinos.
This is a defining
like you.
moment, not only for our party, but for our country. Our fellow Americans are fearful right now. Families are suffering from inflation and wages that don't keep up with prices.
Her retirement checks get
Young
eaten
people
alive.
are being indoctrinated to think our country is racist and evil. The Jewish community is facing an obscene rise in anti-Semitism. Too many minorities are trapped in communities devastated by crime. Our foreign enemies win when they see Americans hate each other. They see that today, whether it's on college campuses or in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania.
It's not Americans, it's activists. A lot of women at this convention.
But we can conquer those fears with strength and unity. No president can fix all of our problems alone. We have to do this together. America has an amazing ability to self-correct. In this moment, we have a chance to put aside our differences and focus on what unites us and strengthens our country.
Please put me to sleep.
Let us join together as a party. Let us come together as a people, as one country, strong and proud. Let us show our children and the world that even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. God bless you. Thank you. God bless the United States of America.
Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador, governor of South Carolina, Republican in name only.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
Here we go. Now this will be better. Look at that's a genuine reception there for him. People like DeSantis better than like her.
My fellow Republicans, let's send Joe Biden back to his basement and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House.
There you go, DeSantis.
Life was more affordable when Donald Trump was president. Our border was safer under the Trump administration, and our country was respected when Donald Trump was our commander-in-chief.
True statements.
Joe Biden has failed this nation. As a veteran, I was appalled when 13 of our service members were killed in Afghanistan due to Joe Biden's
negligence,
dereliction of duty.
Yep. Should have been impeached.
As a citizen, as a husband, and as a father, I am alarmed that the current president of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, I called it that a few weeks back.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Biden is just a figurehead. He's a tool
puppet
for imposing a leftist agenda on the American people.
Yep.
They support open borders, allowing
He's not reading a teleprompter.
Millions of illegal aliens to pour into our country and to burden our communities, but just don't send any to Martha's Vineyard, then they get really upset.
Exactly.
They have unleashed progressive prosecutors across our nation
Larry
who
Krasner.
care more about coddling criminals than about protecting their own communities. They use the unelected bureaucracy to impose their will on us without our consent, and they weaponize political power to target their political opponents like they've done to our own nominee. They want to ban gas automobiles, eliminate Second Amendment rights, and impose gender ideology on everyone from our infantrymen to kindergartners.
Yep.
They stand for DEI, which really means division, exclusion, and indoctrination, and
Yep.
it is wrong.
Yep, spot on.
They mandated that you show proof of a COVID vaccine to go to a restaurant, but they oppose requiring proof of citizenship
To vote.
cast a vote.
Yep, that shows you just how fraudulent they are. Yep, I like that tie.
They can't even define what a woman is.
Yep.
Now, Donald Trump stands in their way, and he stands up for America. Donald Trump has been demonized. He's been sued. He's been
shot.
prosecuted, and he nearly lost his life. We cannot let him down, and we cannot let America down.
This is why I liked DeSantis for a while there.
It is the values of this Republican Party that reflect our nation's founding principles. We believe schools should educate,
Not indoctrinate.
We stand for parents' rights, including universal school choice. We support law and order, not rioting and disorder. We seek a strong, focused United States military, not one distracted by a social agenda. We reject entrenched political class, and we demand term limits for members of Congress. We stand for fiscal sanity, for low taxes, and for reduced debt. We seek to reclaim the constitutional government as envisioned by our founding fathers by bringing the administrative state to heel once and for all. We believe that you must be a citizen in order to vote.
Yeah.
And that photo ID should be required before casting a ballot.
Agreed.
We stand for strong borders and believe that our nation must have a shared civic culture, and we oppose any immigration that stands apart or in contrast to our American values.
Yeah, I think he will,
We
Hendo.
believe in the principles articulated in the Declaration of Independence.
Homeland
that our
Security.
rights come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of the Almighty, including the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, none of this is easy, but it can be done. For decades, my home state saw elections determined by razor-thin margins. Today, due to bold leadership, the Democratic Party lies in ruins.
Disarray.
The left is in retreat. Freedom reigns supreme. The woke mind virus is dead, and Florida is a solid Republican state.
Yep, it's all true. Unfortunately, I could never live in that state. I can't stand it.
Now, electing Donald Trump gives us the chance to do this all across America. And we have a responsibility to step up and make it happen. We have a responsibility to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. This was a fire that burned in Independence Hall in 1776 when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish this nation. It's a fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when our nation's first Republican president pledged this nation to a new birth of freedom. It's a fire that burned at the foot of the Berlin Wall in 1987, when our nation's 40th president
Reagan
stood in front of that wall
Tear
and
down
said,
this wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This is a brilliant speech.
This is not a responsibility we should fear. It's a responsibility we should welcome. After all, if not us, who? And if not now, when?
Yep.
Let's make the 45th president of the
The
United
47th.
States the 47th president of the United States. Let's elect Republicans up and down the ballot, and let's heed the call of our party's nominee to fight, fight, fight for these United States. Thank you.
Well, that was brilliant.
Thank you. Let's win in November. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's competing with Vivek for the best speech. Man up? No, Arctic. It's not a question of the weather. It's a question of...
It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we voting for? We voting Donald Trump, baby.
I can't play that. Sorry. It's pretty good, though. We're voting Trump, baby. Oh, there's Amber Rose. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. This is the best thing since Ice Baby, man. Oh, my goodness. This is awesome rap, man.
FJB, 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 FJB.
Oh, my goodness. It's off the hook. Trump, baby. I love it. Crazy. Oh my gosh. When are they doing this now? Is this the premiere? Trump, baby. This is incredible. Trump, baby official. When did this come out? Oh, it's 2 weeks ago. Let's go, Brandon. Hello, Trumpy. This is a great video. Amber Rose is in it. Forgiato Blow, co-starring Amber Rose. Sorry, but this is pretty awesome. Great video. Didn't see that one come out. Nick Gross, 70 Rand Super Chat.
United States Senator Eric Schmitt of Missouri.
Yeah, DeSantis did a really good job there.
Hello, Milwaukee. Hello, America.
Looks like Bill de Blasio.
I'm Eric Schmitt from the great state
of Missouri,
the Show Me State. It's not lost on me how unlikely my presence is on this stage. As the grandson of a butcher, the son of a man who worked 7 days a week in the midnight shift, my blue-collar roots run deep. And I'm proud the Republican Party is the party of working families. Missouri is home to cities named Liberty and Independence.
Yep, Independence.
And towns called Freedom and Defiance. So it should come as no surprise that we are sick and tired of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I am here with a simple message. Enough is enough. We're ready to take our country back.
He's not a very good speaker. I'm sorry.
Under Joe Biden, the rule of law has disintegrated. Crime is rampant. Our communities are under siege, and our brave law enforcement officers are constantly being vilified. He stood idly by as liberal DAs and mayors pushed a defund the police agenda and empowered criminals, all while endangering law-abiding citizens. Kamala Harris shares in these failures. She campaigned as a progressive prosecutor and even called for us to reimagine public safety.
Tom Cotton's
Americans
next.
don't need to reimagine safety. We know exactly what safe communities look like. But the weakness and the wokeness of the Biden-Harris administration has made us less safe. Biden and Harris opened our border to terrorists, to criminals. They allowed drug cartels to flood our communities with Chinese fentanyl that's killing more than 200 Americans each and every day. It doesn't have to be this way. As Missouri's former Attorney General, I went toe-to-toe with the radical defund the police crowd and had the backs of our men and women in blue. When Soros-backed officials refused to prosecute violent criminals, I stepped in and put those dangerous felons behind bars. And I know President Trump will do the same. He'll restore law and order. He'll unapologetically back the blue. And President Trump will secure the border once and for all. I believe in an America where our best days are ahead of us. I believe in an America where moms and dads can raise their kids in safe communities. And I believe in an America where we defend the police, not defund the police.
Put me asleep.
President Trump will make that dream a reality, and that's why we need him back in the White House. Ladies and gentlemen, a vote for President Trump is a vote to make America safe again. Thank you. God bless you.
That was
and
terrible.
God bless the United States of America.
That was terrible. Oh, gosh, that was painful. Nikki Haley's was painful. That was even worse. Vivek was great.
Gentlemen, please welcome United States Senator Tom
Cotton
of
from Arkansas. Yeah, this should be all right. Smart guy, Tom Cotton. Looks like he should be in a police academy movie.
I want to share two stories about immigration and two presidents. Manuel was a house painter in Arkansas and a green card holder from Mexico. He couldn't vote in 2020 yet, but his family could. Manuel proudly told his contractor that they had just cast their first votes for president. For whom? Donald Trump, of course. When asked why, Manuel gestured to the parking lot and responded, "Have you seen my new pickup? And did you know that my brother and sister both have full-time jobs? With Trump, we've had more work than ever. Things are good."
All right, this is not really hitting on all cylinders.
Manuel became a citizen last year, and he's excited to vote for the first time for Donald Trump.
Exactly, Arctic.
By contrast,
Working
after
dog.
Joe Biden and the border czar, Kamala Harris, reversed President Trump's immigration policies and welcomed a third world invasion, I traveled to our border. What did I see? The body of a migrant drowned in the Rio Grande. Human traffickers on the southern bank taunting the Border Patrol. Migrants huddled under a bridge. I asked them why they came.
Biden
None
and
said persecution. Most said for a job. A few admitted because they could get in. Another answered with one simple word: Biden. My flight home the next day was full of these migrants, and you,
Paid for it.
all of you, paid for their tickets.
Yep.
That's our choice. A secure border and an immigration system that works for all of our citizens, whether your ancestors bled with George Washington.
Mine did.
Or like Manuel in Arkansas, you just took the oath of citizenship. Or Joe Biden's chaos. Donald Trump said, you can't have a nation without borders, and he defended those borders.
Snooze alert.
Joe Biden thinks borders are racist.
Joe
Donald
Biden's
Trump
a racist.
will secure our border once again. Donald Trump banned travel to America from terrorist-infested countries.
Yep.
Joe Biden allowed ISIS to smuggle terrorists in. Donald Trump will protect America once again. Donald Trump insisted that immigrants must stand on their own 2 feet, the oldest principle of American immigration. Joe Biden gave migrants welfare, free hotels, and more.
Yep.
Donald Trump will stop migrant welfare once again. Donald Trump ended bogus asylum claims, Joe Biden created an app to let illegals schedule their arrival.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Donald Trump will stop this migrant fraud once again. Donald Trump cracked down on hiring illegals. Joe Biden let illegals take American jobs. Donald Trump will protect America's workers once again.
Oh boy, this is flat.
So what choice will we make? Will we choose Joe Biden, open borders, amnesty, and chaos? No, of course not. We'll choose Donald Trump and his record of security, prosperity, and stability. As Manuel said, things were good with Donald Trump, but everything has gone to hell under Joe Biden.
That's a true statement.
But this Biden chaos will end soon.
Let's
because
hope.
it's time for us to elect President Trump to secure our border and to make America great again. Thank you all.
Oh boy.
God bless
Yeah,
you.
could have sent us an email.
God bless the United States of America.
Could have sent us an email for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Coyle from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh man, lives under Larry Krasner's reign of criminality. Don't dress up, Mike.
Good evening, Milwaukee. My name is Michael Coyle. I'm from Philadelphia, in an area of Kensington, one of the worst neighborhoods in America. Kensington has long struggled, but in the last few years, things have gotten much worse. Our streets are plagued by drugs. You'll find human feces in front of your business or someone lying dead on your front steps. Politicians say nice things or clean up the streets for a couple weeks in an election year or when someone famous visits or even when there's bad news. But as soon as the politicians are no longer afraid for their jobs, we are no longer afraid for our lives. Our children grow up seeing this, thinking it's normal. But there is nothing normal about this. This should not be the norm happening in the richest nation on earth. As a dad and small business owner, I had to do something. I started a nonprofit to improve the neighborhood I love and shared videos online of the horror we live with. In just one day, in one park, where our kids passed to reach the public library, we picked up over 1,000 needles.
Jeez.
1,000. This is unacceptable. Philadelphia is not just my home, but the birthplace of the nation, where our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. This is not a tragedy for just my city, but for our nation. My city and all cities deserve better.
Agreed.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the ones who opened our southern border and allowed Chinese fentanyl to pour in unconditionally. And life is only getting worse. Philadelphians aren't dying off fentanyl. They are dying off fentanyl as well. They are now using something called trank, which is literally rotten flesh of the users.
Yep.
Do you know what the smell of rotting flesh smells like?
Sadly, I do.
The people of my city do. In Donald Trump, I see a leader who will end the urban nightmare. I ask you to join me in supporting him this fall because a vote for President Trump is a vote to restore our cities and to make America safe again. Thank you. Kensington Beach for Trump.
Oh boy, it's another one that was appreciated, but no. All right, well, that isn't the last speaker for that hour. We still have one speaker left for that hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Erin Koper from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
She's going to talk about fentanyl. It's a big gal. My goodness.
That's right.
That's right. Come on, Erin.
Good evening. My name is Erin Koper. I'm a grassroots organizer, a proud Republican woman, and a longtime resident of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Sounds more like she's from the Valley.
I'm here to urge Americans to re-elect President Trump
that Scott Pressler?
and make America safe again. But
Sounds
I'm
like a
also
Valley
here
gal.
with a warning, because in recent years, I've had a front row seat to the chaos caused by Democrats and their soft on crime policies. Democrat Mayor Ed Gainey, Congresswoman Summer Lee, and especially
Summer Lee,
Socialist County Executives Sarah Innamorato have demoralized and disrespected our police while unleashing criminals into our communities. The Pittsburgh Police Department has shrunk from 991 officers in 2020 to 750 at the end of last year. Response times are soaring. One city worker got mugged at gunpoint and raced to a police station, but no one was there to help. The Democrats have given Pittsburgh defund the police on steroids. The result is crime and chaos. There were 122 murders in my county in 2022, one of the deadliest years on record. Drug deaths are also near record highs. But statistics don't tell the full story. I've been chased by drug dealers on my own street. I've seen filthy tent cities pop up on my block. I've talked to business owners who find human waste, used needles, and shell casings outside their shops. I've felt the chill of fear as a woman when I'm alone in a parking garage or on the street. What the Democrats did to San Francisco,
They're doing to Pittsburgh.
doing to my city.
Yep.
But law-abiding citizens are fighting back and saying no more. I saw this when Pittsburgh Republicans, independents, even Democrats came together to beat Soros prosecutor last November. It can happen again this November. If we stand together, we will beat the soft on crime Democrats and make our streets safe again. We can re-elect President Trump, and we can save our cities. Thank you.
Sounds like a Valley girl to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome American Mom and Fundner.
Yeah, we're already 7 minutes behind, so they're going straight into her. She wasn't supposed to start till the next hour. Looks like Tommy Lahren, except not as pretty.
Hi, my name is Ann Fundner, and I am the wife and mother of 4 children. I'm standing here today to share the tragic reality of open borders. I'm here to share the story of my firstborn son, my everything, my Weston. My family and I were living in Southern California when President Biden took office and opened our borders. My Weston was 15. He was an amazing big brother to his 3 younger siblings. Weston attended church twice a week, played football and hockey, and he loved to surf. He had a big heart, and he lived to make people laugh. He had so many good friends. And I was always vigilant to be the best mother that I could be. I was room mom, school ambassador, and I attended all of his sports. We had family dinners and barbecues at the beach. And like most teenagers, Weston wanted to fit in. And in a moment of peer pressure, he tried something that someone gave to him,
Fentanyl.
and it took my baby's life. We did everything right. I had those conversations with him, and fentanyl still found my son.
And on February 27th, 2022, our lives were shattered and our baby was gone. This was not an overdose, it was a poisoning. His whole future, everything we ever wanted for him was ripped away in an instant. And Joe Biden does nothing. I hold Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the border czar, what a joke, and Gavin Newsom and every Democrat who supports open borders responsible for the death of my son.
Wow, this is raw. This is raw. This is raw.
Thank you.
Kid didn't even do drugs. One moment.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the tens of thousands of American innocent children. For that alone, they should be voted out of office.
Yep. Agreed. Joe must go.
Yes. Joe must go. Yes, he must.
Wow.
Joe must go. Absolutely. We have seen the highest number of fentanyl deaths during the Biden-Harris administration, and fentanyl is now the #1
Killer of people under
Americans
21.
ages 18 to 45, and it is quickly becoming the leading cause of
Of
death
all Americans.
for teens, with 14 and under being the fastest growing demographic.
Yep, they're wiping out our next generation.
We need President Trump back in office. We need a president who will seal the border, aggressively prosecute drug dealers, and stop Communist China from poisoning our children. This is not a red or blue issue. This is a red, white, and blue issue.
Yep.
And fentanyl doesn't care if you're black or white.
Nope.
It does not discriminate. This is an American issue. We need a president who will call the drug cartels what they are.
Yep.
Terrorist organizations.
Yep, I agree with her.
This fight is not for me. My son is gone.
Yep.
This fight is for your children. We owe it to our children to elect a president who will win the war against fentanyl once and for all. It's too late for my son, Weston. Say his name, Joe Biden. Weston. Thank you. Thank you. But we can change this for your children. We need President Trump back to save the lives of our kids. Thank you. Thank you. God bless America.
If you think that was raw, folks, next is going to be even tougher. The family of Rachel Moran, who was
Ladies and
killed last
gentlemen,
year.
Please welcome the Moran family from Maryland.
Yep. This is going to be tough. This one's going to be hard.
Last year,
we lost my beloved sister, Rachel. She went for a walk in one of our family's favorite places. This beautiful trail was to us a safe place where we pushed our babies in strollers, where we walked together as a family, where my wife and I got married, near what would later become the spot where my sister's body was found.
Ugh.
Rachel, a joyful, accomplished athlete and mother of 5, was raped and murdered by a suspected illegal immigrant. This was described as among the most brutal and violent offenses that has ever occurred in Harford County, Maryland history.
2 hours from my home.
Open borders are often portrayed as compassionate and virtuous.
They're neither.
But there is nothing compassionate about allowing violent criminals into our country and robbing children of their mother. My sister's death was preventable.
He'd been expelled from the country 3
The
times.
monster arrested for killing Rachel
Deported 3 times.
entered the U.S. unlawfully after killing a woman in El Salvador.
Yep.
Joe Biden and his designated border czar, Kamala Harris, opened our borders to him and others like him, empowering them to victimize the innocent. Yet, to this day, we have not heard from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris.
Yep. They don't give a flying flip about you.
They never apologized. But when Rachel was killed, President Trump called my family to offer his condolences.
He wasn't even president.
He wanted to meet with us. He cared. That is leadership. And we need real leadership back in the White House. What has gotten us through this unthinkable loss is our faith in Jesus Christ. And as brutal as the murder of my sister was, I pray that her killer will find Jesus Christ.
And I pray that he finds a lethal injection.
For all the affected by senseless tragedy, I pray for peace, knowing that all things work together for good, to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. I pray that we hold worldly leaders accountable for safety and justice for innocent people. I pray that we make our country safe and secure in the memory of my sister Rachel, who loved life. Thank you. God bless America. Good night.
Yep, he's obviously very angry. With good reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Madeline Brame from New York.
And then we'll be back to noted politicians after this. She's going to talk about crime as well.
Good evening, everyone. My son, Sergeant Hassan Korea, an Afghanistan War retired veteran. He received enemy fire from the Taliban, only to be murdered with a knife on the streets of New York City. The 4 assailants responsible for his death initially were facing justice, but that changed when District Attorney Alvin Bragg was elected.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Suddenly, 2 of the homicidal maniacs responsible for my son's death had their gang assault and murder charges completely dismissed.
Yep. She's pissed.
One of them received 14 months time served. Alvin Bragg charged her with assault with a shoe.
Yep.
And another one was sentenced to 7 years.
For the murder of an Army veteran.
I learned that Alvin Bragg often dismisses and reduces dangerous criminals. He wants to clear the jails and return violent felons onto our streets every day. The injustice was devastating for me and my family. I don't want anyone else to experience the senseless pain that many other victims across this United States of America have to live with every day. So I decided to use the voice that God gave me to be the voice for the voiceless across America. We need justice for victims, and we need accountability
There you go.
for prosecutors who fail in their duty. Soft on crime prosecutors like Alvin Bragg in New York, Kim Fox in Chicago, and George Gascon in Los Angeles.
And Larry Crash in Philadelphia.
Our great country and cities into
killing
war
fields.
zones.
Into the killing fields.
Poor and neglected communities like mine are suffering. And who else in here is sick and tired of being sick and tired? The Democratic Party that poor minorities have been loyal to for decades, including myself, all right? They betrayed us. They stabbed us in the back. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who claim to represent us, have abandoned us. They neglected the poor minority communities across America. But mine eyes have been opened. Just like so many other poor minorities across America. Donald Trump shares our values, love of God and family and country.
The left's racist narrative is falling apart.
Of the same corrupt system that I have been and my family has been. He is committed to providing economic opportunities, helping those suffering from addiction with long-term inpatient drug programs.
Damn! This is a passion.
Rolling back deadly bail reform policies that are getting our children killed every single day.
Damn!
And supporting our police. We back the NYPD. We back the blue.
Damn! She's on fire. And I'm pissed off the wrong mama.
Back the blue. NYPD, black the blue. Trump was right when he said, they're after us.
Yep.
It's just standing standing in the way.
Yep.
And guess what? He always will. That's why I'm standing with him today. Let's make America safe again.
Damn.
And re-elect our Donald J. Trump.
Damn.
Thank you, and good night.
Woo! She brought the house down. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has to follow. That's a tough act to follow.
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
Please welcome Arkansas Governor
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Thank you. What a powerful story to follow.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
I don't know why she's so popular. I like her dad.
And before I get started, I want to say I have always been proud to stand with President Trump, but never have I been more proud than to stand with him right now, tonight.
Now that's a nice dress.
Not even an assassin's bullet could stop him. God Almighty intervened because America is one nation under God, and he is certainly not finished with President Trump. And our country is better for it. I am here tonight as America's youngest governor, the first woman to lead the great state of Arkansas. And most importantly, a mom to 3 amazing kids, Scarlett, Huck, George. When I was President Trump's White House press secretary, the best job, I got the chance to take my 4-year-old son, Huck, to bring your kid to work day.
That must have been cool.
Like Jill now drags Joe to bring your husband to work.
Oh, that deserves a standing round of applause. That was hilarious.
While I was briefing the president on the upcoming event in the Oval Office, all of the kids who were attending that day gathered in the Rose Garden, getting ready to meet him. And we were walking out onto that beautiful, perfect colonnade. And I saw out of the corner of my eye that my son Huck was running full speed directly at the President of the United States. Being the gracious person he is, President Trump bent down to give him a big hug. And right in front of everyone, Huck sidestepped the president, completely ignoring him in front of everyone, and ran straight into my arms. For my 4-year-old son, the most powerful man in the world
Was me.
had nothing on his mom.
There you go. Well stated.
But because he's the amazing man he is, President Trump didn't mind at all. After all, he's a dad to 5 unbelievable kids and a grandfather to 10. And while that story is certainly a special memory for my family, it's an even greater reminder why I support President Trump, not for me, not for him, but for my kids and for yours. Under President Trump, America was safer. The world was safer.
Yep.
And it felt like the next generation would have a chance at the American dream. President Trump did the job that Kamala won't and Joe Biden simply can't. When we're honest, every American knows that we were so much better off under President Trump. So tonight, I don't want to just speak about President Trump's successful policies. While there are many, I want to talk about the man that I know. When the president hired me, I was the first mom and only the third woman to ever serve as the White House press secretary.
But he hates women. Liars.
And in that role, I endured relentless attacks from the left.
Yep.
I was insulted as
For
a guest at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yep.
My family was denied service and kicked out of a restaurant.
Yep. Yep.
And a parent at my 3-year-old son's preschool spit on my car. And in those moments, it was President Trump who defended me. And when an MSNBC host, the author of several books on empowering women, said I was unfit to be a mother, and another MSNBC host said I was vile, not even human, and that I should be choked, MSNBC again did nothing. But our president pulled me aside, looked me in the eye, and said, Sarah, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're tough, and they attack you because you're good at your job.
Yep.
Never let them stop fighting.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
That's all the left has, insults. Misandry, misogyny, bigotry, racism, and hatred is the left. And lies.
That's the Donald Trump that I know. And that's the Donald J. Trump I will always respect. The left doesn't care about empowering women.
Nope.
Biden and Harris can't even tell you what a woman is.
Exactly.
They only care about empowering themselves.
Exactly.
But we have a president who believes in empowering every American and that our country is worth fighting for. For the last 4 years, Republican governors have been leading that fight.
Yep.
And doing
against
what
this
Joe
regime.
Biden refuses to do. We've deployed the National Guard to the border. We've cracked down on crime and drugs. We cut taxes to give hardworking Americans a break from Bidenflation. And we empowered parents with universal school choice across the country. Donald Trump was the very first president in my lifetime to take a hard line against China, and I'm proud to be the first and only governor in the country to kick communist China off our farmland and out of my state.
She did it, yep. Yep.
President Trump is a leader, and he's the leader our country needs. And if ever there was a doubt, earlier this week, we saw just how tough, resilient, courageous, and daring this man is, and we can't get him back in the White House fast enough.
Agreed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not called to stand still in the face of great danger. You and I were put on this earth at a moment in time to charge boldly ahead.
Okay.
We cannot know what the future holds, but we know damn sure who holds the future in his hands.
Yep.
God spared President Trump from that assassin because God is not finished with him yet. And he most certainly is not finished with America yet either.
Ben Carson, Marco Rubio, and Lara Trump still left tonight.
With God as our guide and President Trump back in the White House, we will show the world that America is the place where freedom reigns and liberty will never die. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, let us not leave here just excited about a great few days, but let us leave here
with a sense of mission,
energized and committed to making sure that we protect our freedom and we have the ability to pass it on to the next generation, because America is the greatest country that the world has ever known, and our kids and our grandkids deserve to enjoy it the way each of us did. And we will with President Trump back in the White House. Thank you so much. God bless the great state of Arkansas and the amazing United States of America. Thank you very much.
All right, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of Arkansas. Next is Ben Carson, a little bit lower energy.
Please welcome former United States Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Ben Carson.
A man beloved by the conservative crowd. Stands for real values.
Thank you.
A little bit sedate, though.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, Sarah Huckabee always says to me, I hate to follow you. But I think she turned the table on me tonight.
Yes, she did.
I want to thank you all for being here and for being involved. Like many of you last week, I watched with horror as the events unfolded in that Pennsylvania field. I saw President Trump, a dear friend, escape death by mere inches. And my thoughts immediately turned to the book of Isaiah, that says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Well, let me tell you the weapons that they used. First, they tried to ruin his reputation.
Yep.
And he's more popular now than ever.
Yep.
And then they tried to bankrupt him. And he's got more money now than he had before. and then they tried to put him in prison, and he's freer and has made other people free with him. And then
they tried to kill him.
And then last weekend they tried to kill him, and there he is over there alive and well.
Trump's loving that. How long will the bandage stay on, I wonder? How many weeks?
You know, I have no doubt that God lowered a shield of protection over President Trump. And I join millions of Americans in thanksgiving for President Trump's safety. And I encourage you to join me in praying each day for his continued protection.
Yeah, he needs it.
You know, our hearts go out to the victims in the audience. Let's also pray for them and their families. These events have brought unusual clarity to the times we are living in. We have all harbored the nagging feeling that everything we love is slipping
away.
All you have to do is turn on the television. The free press, a
Gone.
pillar of any free society, has abused the public trust and resorted to lies, deception, and disinformation. They divide us along lines of race, class, and gender, rather than uniting us around our shared bond as Americans.
Common values.
Our government has been no better, shredding our Constitution and upending the rule of law. We have a wide open border, a broken education system, and chaos breaking out around the world. And on top of it all, we have a president who, well, if you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all. But ask anyone around the world, what does it mean to be an American? Most will tell you that it means unlimited opportunity. That where you begin in life doesn't dictate where you will end.
Yep.
That's the America I grew up in. In no other country could a poor inner city kid raised by a single mom
Become a pediatric
make it
neurosurgeon.
to an Ivy League school, then to medical school, become a successful neurosurgeon, run for president, and eventually become a member of the president's cabinet.
Yep, he's right. Only in America. But systemic racism.
You know, and as a member of his cabinet, I had a chance to work closely with him. And I got to tell you, this is a man who is a gift to us as a nation. He is very gifted. He is very smart. He is very compassionate. He cares about people. And I'll tell you, the first time I met him, it was before either of us got into the political arena. And we were at Mar-a-Lago, and someone came up to him and said, "Mr. Trump, Rod Stewart just walked in." And he said, "I don't care. This is Ben Carson."
Never heard that story before.
I feel blessed that I've been able to live the American dream. But my story is moving further out of reach in America today.
Under Biden.
The lessons my
On the
mother
left.
taught me, like hard work and the value of well-rounded patriotic education and faith in God above all else, are being forced out of the public square. But we're all here today because we know we can bring these things back. By God's grace, we live in a country where the people rule. We have the power to choose the kind of nation we will be and the kind of men and women that will lead us. And today the choice could not be more clear. The most repeated phrase in the Bible is this: do not be afraid, or fear not. It appears 365 times in Scripture, a reminder to live each day with faith, hope, and joy as joyful warriors for Christ.
Such a good man. Such a good man.
And And when God is with us, nobody can stand against us. With this assurance from the Almighty, even the face of evil itself cannot shake our resolve. We will keep fighting, we will keep praying, and by the grace of God, we will save our country and re-elect President Trump together with Vice President Vance this November. And I want you to remember this. In 1831, Alexis de Tocqueville came to America to study our nation because the Europeans were fascinated.
Democracy in
They wanted
America.
to know how could a nation barely 50 years old already compete with them on virtually every level. So he looked at our government and he was duly impressed by our checks and balances and separation of powers. And then he looked at our business environment. He was duly impressed by how we encourage entrepreneurship and innovation. And he looked at our educational system, and he was blown away by the fact that he could find a mountain man in the middle of the woods
Who was
could read,
educated.
who could tell him about the Declaration of Independence. But the thing that impressed him the most was when he went to our churches.
Yep.
And he heard those inspirational sermons from the pulpits that inspired a ragtag bunch of militiamen to defeat the most powerful army in the world and gave the American people a moral base.
Yep.
And
Spot on.
And he concluded his 2-volume set, Democracy in America, with these words. He said, America is great because America is good. And if America ever ceases to be good, she will cease to be great.
Yep.
It is our job to make America good. And let's do this by re-electing President Trump so we can make America great. Thank you very much.
Oh, Dr. Ben Carson, quiet but brilliant presence. 2 more speakers, Marco Rubio.
Please welcome United States Senator of Florida,
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Hopefully he brings some energy to this. Lara Trump is the last speaker of the evening. The Rhino, Marco Rubio.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know why people like him. He's a rhino.
Don't say polo. Don't say polo.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Sure, he's
Thank
used it a few
you.
times.
The last few days remind us that the life of every living thing
It's precious.
and the breath of all mankind is in the hands of God. We were brought to the precipice of the abyss,
Yep.
and by the hand of God, reminded of what truly matters in our lives and in our country. This thing we do called politics, it matters. It's not unimportant. But it is our people who must always matter the most in everything we do. By giving voice to everyday Americans, President Trump has not just transformed our party, he has inspired a movement.
That predates him.
A movement of the people who grow our food and drive our trucks, the people who make our cars and build our homes, the people whose taxes fund our government, and whose children fight our wars. Americans like Coyle Comparatori. He was a former fire chief and a loving husband. He was described as the best dad a girl could ever ask for. As a man of God who loved Jesus fiercely and looked after members of his church. Coyle was one of the millions of everyday Americans who make our country great. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, and the only reason why we know his name and story now
He was murdered.
is because last Saturday he shielded his wife and daughter from an assassin's bullet and lost his life the way he lived it, a hero.
Yep. A hero being insulted by social media trolls online.
For those still wondering who are in the press and many watching at home, these are the Americans who wear the red hats and wait for hours under a blazing sun to hear Trump speak. And what they want, what they ask for, it is not hateful or extreme. What they want is good jobs and lower prices.
Law and order.
They want borders that are secure, and for those who come here to do so legally. They want to be safe from criminals and from terrorists. And they want for our leaders to care more about our problems here at home than about the problems of other countries far away.
It's not evil.
There is absolutely nothing dangerous or anything divisive about putting Americans first.
Correct.
Those who are offended, anyone who is offended about putting America first has forgotten what American is and what American means.
Yep.
American isn't the color of our skin.
Nope.
Or our ethnicity.
Nope. Or our faith.
Americans are people as diverse as humanity itself. But out of many, we are one.
One. E
Because
pluribus
as the
unum.
life story of our next Vice President, J.D. Vance, reminds us, we are all descendants of ordinary people who achieved extraordinary things. Who do we come from? We come from pioneers who ventured west to chase their dreams, and slaves who overcame bondage to claim their right to the promise of America. We come from exiles who fled tyranny in search of freedom, and of immigrants who left behind all they had and knew because they could not be or achieve God's purpose for their life
Where they came
in the
from.
nation of their birth. That is an American.
Don't forget our Native Americans, Marco.
And putting Americans first
Is right.
must be what this election is about. When President Trump was in the White House, Americans had more money and lower prices. Our borders were secure and our laws were enforced.
Not in
Iran was
2020.
broke, the Taliban stopped killing Americans, and Putin didn't invade anyone.
Correct. And Kim Jong-un was under control. And China was in retreat.
Now under Biden,
World's
high
upside down.
prices devour paychecks.
Retirement
Criminals
checks.
and drugs are allowed to flood into our country and terrorize our people. And Iran has money to support terrorists. The Taliban humiliated us in Afghanistan, and not one, but two major wars have broken out. My fellow Americans, the only way to make America wealthy and safe and strong again is to make Donald J. Trump our president again.
It's a good speech, Marco. One more speaker, Lara Trump.
Our country has been injured.
Grievously.
Injured by the bad decisions of weak leaders.
Yep.
But now, though bloodied by our wounds, we must stand up and we must fight. Fight not with violence or destruction, but with our voices and our votes. Fight not against each other, but for the hopes and dreams we share in common and make us one. And fight for an America where we are safe from those who seek to harm us on our streets. It is time to put our country and our people first again. And if we do, together, we will make our people wealthy again. If we do, together, we will make our country safe again. Together, we will make Donald Trump our president again. And together, we will not just make America great again. We will make America greater than it has ever been. Thank you. God bless you.
Marco Rubio, pretty good speech. And now Lara Trump, his daughter-in-law.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lara Trump.
I don't feel like I actually have to ask this question, but is anybody in this room ready to send Donald Trump back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Well, it may not be a surprise that I actually had a very different speech that I was prepared to give up here tonight. That all changed at 6:11 on Saturday evening. Nothing prepares you for a moment like that. Our family has faced our fair share of death threats, mysterious powders sent to our homes, tasteless and violent comments directed towards us on social media, but none of that prepares you as a daughter-in-law to watch in real time someone try to kill a person you love. None of that prepares you as a mother to quickly reach for the remote and turn your young children away from the screen so that they're not witness to something that scars the memory of their grandpa for the rest of their lives. The prayers and well wishes we've received over the last 72 hours have been overwhelming, to say the least. And my heart goes out to the family who lost a husband and a father because of this senseless act. All of you here tonight and watching at home mean the world to all of us in the Trump family. If Donald Trump has shown us anything, it's that when it feels impossible to keep going, those are the times we must keep going. I don't know how many people here or watching at home have ever been to a Trump rally, but if you've never been, let me tell you about them. Oh, some of you have been. Oh. Regardless of how the media have painted these rallies, you would be hard-pressed to find and to join a happier group of people coming together over their love for the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. I dare anyone trying to leave a Trump rally without leaving with some new friends. You always make friends at a Trump rally, right? Veterans, teachers, blue-collar workers, white-collar workers, active duty military, police officers, firefighters, small business owners, Latino supporters, Christian supporters, Jewish supporters, black supporters, white supporters, Asian supporters, gay supporters, Republicans, independents, and yes,
even a few Democrats.
At a Trump rally, you're not viewed as your profession, your religion, or the color of your skin. You're viewed as one thing.
An American.
An American. Last Saturday was a jarring reminder that we, as Americans, must always remember. There is more that unites us than divides us.
Yep.
We all want this country to be great, even if we don't always agree on the best way of doing that. And with every bone in my body, I can tell you that all Donald Trump wants to do and has ever wanted to do is make this country great again for all of us. Proverbs 28 reads, "The wicked flee, though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." And that truly epitomizes Donald Trump. He is a lion. He is bold, he is strong, he is fearless, and he is exactly what this country needs right now. Let's not forget what life actually looked like under President Donald Trump. Trade deals across the world that benefited our economy.
The Abraham Accords.
Allied countries paying their fair share. A safe and secure southern border.
Mostly safe. Mostly secure.
Record low unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and women.
Women, yep.
Record investment in historically black colleges and universities.
Yep.
The creation of the United States Space Force.
Yep.
The most comprehensive prison reform in decades.
Yep.
How
I
about
forgot
the
about that.
peace agreements in the Middle East that they said
Abraham
would
Accords.
never happen? The largest tax cuts in American history, our energy independence, massive amounts of red tape cut, and no new wars when Donald J. Trump was president.
He ended wars.
Maybe, most importantly though, you could actually feel it in your everyday life. Now, you didn't have to love everything that he tweeted, but you cannot deny you were better off when Donald Trump was in office. Americans were finally able to start saving money. Home prices were affordable, and gas hit a low of $1.87 a gallon.
Yep.
As I speak here tonight, many of our fellow Americans don't know how they'll pay for their next trip to the grocery store, new clothes for their children, or this month's rent.
Yep.
Many of our fellow Americans worry that we are on the verge of a major terror attack here on American soil. Many of our fellow Americans don't think their own children will be able to establish a better life than they themselves currently have. Many of our fellow Americans are right now sitting and wondering how on earth this country could have moved in the wrong direction
so quickly.
The Democrats and the media know that they cannot convince you, the American people, that your life is better off now, because it's not. So what will they do? They'll try to sell you on some outrageous narrative about the terrible things that Donald Trump will do if he becomes president. But you don't have to imagine what it would be like.
Because he's been president.
All you have to do is
Just
remember
remember
what it was like.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying all along. That's all I got to say. That's the narrative right there.
I know. Oh, yeah. I know what you hear out there about Donald Trump. I know what you read, what the media tells you, and what out-of-touch celebrities on the left say about this man. But when I look at Donald Trump, I see a wonderful father, father-in-law, and of course, grandfather to my 2 young children, Luke and Carolina. I know that I'm lucky enough to get to call him my father-in-law and see him a little differently than all of you. But it's through that lens that I sometimes wish more people could see him. This is a man who has sacrificed for his family and a man who has truly sacrificed for his country. Donald Trump didn't need to run for president for fame or money. Trust me, we all know he already had plenty of that. I'll tell you why he did it and why he continues on, even in the face of the unthinkable. Because he loves this country. He did it for his grandchildren, for your children and grandchildren, and for the generations to come.
Yep.
I have seen this man dragged through hell and back, in and out of courtrooms, indictments, impeachments, mugshots, and even an assassination attempt. And yet, he has never backed down. I'll never forget watching my 2 children run up to him with their drawings and hugs for Grandpa, just moments before he took the elevator down in Trump Tower to address the media the day after his wrongful conviction. Despite everything else he had going on, he had no other focus in the entire world, just a man relishing time with his grandchildren. It's a side of Donald Trump that not enough people get to see. Maybe you got to see a side of Donald Trump on Saturday that you were not sure existed until you saw it with your own eyes. Martin Luther King Jr. once famously said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy."
Yep.
There's no doubt that Saturday was one of the most frightening moments of my father-in-law's life. Millimeters separated him from life and certain death. And yet, it was in the midst of it all, as he was jostled off stage by Secret Service, that he knew how defining that moment would be for our country, and he hoisted his fist in the air.
A living martyr. Steve Scalise sitting next to him.
It was not just for the audience at the rally.
It's for
not
the world.
just for his supporters tuning in, but for all of America. And as a signal to the world that no matter what, America will always prevail. Though it's been strained and attacked, no enemy, no force, not even a bullet is strong enough to break our American grit and our American soul. We are the country whose founders gave their fortunes, freedom, and lives to pursue the dream of a free society. We are the country of Thomas Edison, Susan B. Anthony, Henry Ford, and Harriet Tubman. We are the country who fought and won 2 world wars.
Cold War. War on terrorism.
And we are the country who always rises to meet the moment, no matter how insurmountable the task. And in that split second, on Saturday, Donald Trump reminded us all of that very history and who we are at our core as a nation. That is the Donald Trump that I know.
Co-chair of the Republican National Committee.
He is an American who conquered the business world, an American who made himself a household name, an American who was beloved by politicians and fellow celebrities for decades.
Until he ran for office.
Until he ran for office with an R next to his name.
Suddenly they had a problem with him.
An American whom even Barack Obama admits people consider the American dream. And instead of sailing off into the sunset after an illustrious real estate and television career, he decided to give back. He decided to bring some of the things that had made him so successful in life to all of you in order to improve the lives of all Americans. Black, white, brown, gay, straight, all Americans, because that's the man that Donald Trump is.
Yep.
I can tell you that my personal experience with Donald Trump has shown me his heart. There wasn't a second that he made this small-town girl who was way out of her element in New York City feel anything but welcomed and part of the family. And if not for the support and encouragement of my father-in-law, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's been said by many that Donald Trump sees things in people that they don't even recognize in themselves. In 2016, when he asked me to help him win my home state of North Carolina, I'll be honest, I was terrified. I had no idea how I would make it happen, but he knew I would, and I did. When I was given an opportunity to join a television network as a commentator, it was the push and support of my father-in-law that gave me the confidence to take that job. Always the first one to call or text me after a TV hit and tell me, "Great job, keep going." Not bad, right?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or even a few months ago, when he called and asked me to be the co-chair of our party. He showed me potential in myself that I couldn't yet see.
Yep.
So tonight, to my father-in-law, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for continuing on. Thank you for raising wonderful kids. Thank you for being an amazing grandfather. Thank you for never giving up on me. And thank you for never giving up on our country.
Yeah, he's pretty happy with his wife.
Tonight, I come to you, not as the co-chair of the RNC, not as the daughter-in-law of the candidate. Tonight, I come to you as a mom and as a citizen of this country. For those of you watching who have never voted for Donald Trump, I know what the media and his political opponents have tried to tell you about this man. Believe me, I have seen and heard it all, but I have also seen the truth. I am proud to know Donald Trump, to campaign for him, to vote for him, and to raise his grandchildren. He will do what is necessary to protect you, protect your family, and protect this country. Because Donald Trump wants us all to be successful, to be safe, to be happy, to be strong, and to be great again. Tonight, I'm asking you to vote, not for the Donald Trump you see flashed on your TV every day, splashed across the headlines. Tonight, I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that Luke and Carolina call Grandpa. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that my husband Eric calls Dad. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that I call my father-in-law. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump who can and will make America great once again for all of us. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We love you. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the chairman of the Republican National Committee,
To close
Michael
this.
Whatley of North Carolina.
The co-chairman. We're gonna close the session here. It's a long pause.
For tonight's benediction, please welcome Pastor Corey Brooks, senior pastor of the New Beginnings Church in Chicago and founder of Project Hood, an organization committed to fighting violence and poverty.
All right. If you wanted to end on a boring note tonight, with no emotion on a benediction or a powerless benediction,
You're in the wrong place.
then you probably shouldn't have invited a black pastor from the south side of Chicago.
That's why I didn't close yet.
Before I pray, let me say three things real quick. Number one, let me thank President Trump and the Republican National Convention for giving me a platform to lift up the name of Jesus and to pray for our great nation. Number two, I'd be remiss if I did not give the great state of Illinois and Chicago and the South Side a shout out. O Block, Opportunity Block. And number three, I want you to make the biggest noise in just a second. I want you to raise your signs, blow your whistles, and give God the loudest shout of praise on the count of three. And somebody may say, why? Because this week we could be having
A funeral.
a week of mourning.
Yep.
But because God did not let any of those things be, this is a week of celebration and a week of life, a week of democracy and liberty. So I want to ask you on the count of three to make the loudest noise you can and let the world know that we serve an awesome God. Are you ready? Come on, are you really ready tonight? 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, yes. tonight. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts as we gather for this Republican National Convention. We thank you for this moment to seek your guidance. As I stand before you, many believe America is in trying, divisive times and has not been her best. We know this to be true. We have not been steady, firm, resolute. Too many of us have forgotten how to be Americans. I see this on the south side of Chicago where I'm from. But I refuse to give up. Why? Because I still see the yearning fire within us to be better Americans. Lord, we ask for your divine presence to bless every heart and mind. Grant us wisdom and courage and discernment as we chart the path of our beloved country. May our deeds reflect your will and bring glory to your name. We pray for strength to better our individual selves so that we may bless those around us. Let us be reminded that we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we lift up our citizens and leaders to you. Let them be guided by your truth. And may their actions honor the values upon which this great nation was founded. Let us remember the words of Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Empower us to rise, persevere, and to pursue excellence. Lord, bless our great nation. From Project Hood on the south side of Chicago to all four corners of the great nation, from the hills of West Virginia and Tennessee to Beverly Hills in California, all the way to the homies in Los Angeles and the homies on the west side of Chicago. May we renew our Americanness and strive to uphold your word. With you, Lord, all things are possible. I said all things are possible. All things are possible. In your mighty and matchless name, Jesus, we pray. Let everybody say amen. God bless you and God bless America.
There's the benediction.
Delegates and alternates, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Vance, President Trump, what a night. We have heard from the best of the Republican Party, members of the House, members of the Senate, governors, and candidates. But more importantly,
Everyday Americans.
We have heard from real Americans who understand that America needs to do better and will do better
under Donald
Donald
Trump.
J. Trump as our 47th President of the United States. I would like to ask every single one of you to please raise your voice in thanks to all of those real Americans who spoke tonight about their families in their world and their vision for a better America.
A lot of people skating out already.
At this time, the chair recognizes the delegate from the state of Indiana for the purpose of offering a motion.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Victor Smith from the great state of Indiana. And I make the motion that the convention now adjourns.
The question now occurs on the motion to adjourn.
Do we have a
All
second?
those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Accordingly, this convention stands adjourned until 5:30 p.m. tomorrow.
There you go. All right. The band will strike up here in a second, so I'll have to go back to mute. So there you have it, folks. The Republican National Convention, Day 2. What a plethora, what a slate of speakers. Some were kind of lame and boring. I did start this broadcast early, so we're approaching 3 hours on it, which is longer than I intended to go. Just 2 hours was the plan, but we're 25 minutes past the top of the hour. We're supposed to finish the top of the hour, plus I start a half hour early. But in the 7 o'clock hour, that time, 8 o'clock here, Vivek Ramaswamy spoke in impassioned speech. It was probably arguably the best speech of the evening. Savannah Chrisley, the daughter of the Chrisley parents from the reality television show, came out and spoke about her family being targeted by the corrupt Biden regime and the district attorney in Fulton County, Atlanta. In the next hour, Ted Cruz spoke. It was good. Another damn day was the repeated phrase that came out there. Then also in that hour, Ron DeSantis spoke. Nikki Haley was not impressive. Ron DeSantis, excellent. The rest of the speakers, not very impressive. But the final hour is where it all really happened. And Fundner came out and talked about opioids and loss of her 15-year-old son who never did drugs and just one time was convinced to try something and it cost him his life. Then the family of Rachel Moran, who was raped and murdered in Maryland just a few hours from here. Then Madeline Brame came out speaking about her son, a veteran of Afghanistan, who was stabbed to death by thugs, and he was allowed. Their criminals allowed to get off easy by Alvin Bragg. And then just really from there, it was hit after hit. Sarah Huckabee Sanders spoke brilliantly, followed by Ben Carson, who was quiet but brilliant. Marco Rubio was on point, and then finally Lara Trump was the last one to speak. And let me just close that off. That is the end of that broadcast. So let's get back here. Thank you all for tuning in tonight for the second day of the Republican National Convention. I hope that you found it interesting and my commentary worth your time. It's a pleasure to be here with you all again tonight. And I will, good Lord, my beard looks like it's crooked tonight. I really have to do some cutting on this thing tomorrow. Anyway, this side looks like it's a little too puffy. Anyway, thank you all so much. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind. Feel free to leave a comment behind if you do. If you'd like to, and I do appreciate the super chat that came in earlier. All right, that's it. I'm going to hit the rack. Tomorrow's always a busy day. Wednesday's always a busy day for me. Thank you all so much. And as we say here, ons för we stand together. Stun Sam. Thank you. And that's what America needs to do, stun Sam right now. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. God bless. Be safe out there. Have a good day. It's already early morning hours in South Africa. It's time for me to hit the rack. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for your support. God bless.